Ferns United would like to thank all their sponsors. That's the Discount Centre in Ferns, also the Tatch and the Courtyard in Ferns. And Bulger Brothers Hardware, Home Value Hardware, Milltown, Ferns.
I'd like to welcome you all here to the Ferns United 40th anniversary. I would especially like to thank my very hard-working committee for all their help during the year, and also to managers of all our underage teams. I would like to thank everyone who has helped in any way to make the successful club we are today. I would particularly like to thank all those who have supported us financially over the years. Without their generosity, this club could not survive. This special DVD souvenir is dedicated to everyone who has been part of Ferns United for the last 40 years. It is impossible to capture all those great moments of the past 40 years on this DVD, but hopefully we have scratched the surface just enough to help you drift back down memory lane.
This DVD is a celebration of Ferns Athletic and Ferns United. It's also a celebration of the players all through the years. It's also a celebration of all the managers and of course all the committees down through the year. And no doubt you will agree, it's also a celebration of the Ferns community that has supported this club since the beginning. Without the community's help, Ferns United would not exist. During the making of this DVD, I spoke to many people who was involved in Ferns Athletic. The first two people are two characters, Jim Holden and Kevin Murphy.
Now, I'd like to thank Kevin Murphy and Jim Holden, who were the initial people involved in Ferns Athletic. Thank you, Kevin.
Right, thanks very much, Kev.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you.
Okay. Now, can you tell me of how it began, Kevin, please?
Well, I'll give the best I can. I'll do the best I can with it. And Jim will remember the same team at the time. But when we started off here first, back in 1958, a few lads used to gather around here, play a bit of football in this field, in that field, in the other field. But eventually we ended up down in the Palace Lawn, belonging to Mr. John F. Doyle. And then every Sunday we'd gather in a few lads, not very many, because it was a dangerous thing at the time, because there was a ban from playing foreign sports at the time, and there was plenty of GAA lads that would love to play soccer, but didn't. But however, we walked away then until 1959. The group of lads got together again, and we decided, well, maybe it would be a good thing to enter a team in Wexford here, because at the time there was only 3 other teams, which was St Cormac's in Boulavogue, there was Enniscorthy Town, and St John's in Wexford. And we would have been the 4th team entering in there, so because there was a sort of an agreement. But before we drew up any committees or anything like that, we had to have a little meeting as to see what was going to happen, because there was a lot of obstacles in the way, as Jim would very well tell you as well, such as our first main thing was the pitch. Where were we going to get a pitch? So we sort of had a link onto that, because we had Victor Dial, the late Victor, Lord of Mercy Victor, a son of John F. Dials himself, which owned the Palace Lawn at that time. So we had an 81 in there. We had Victor to approach Mr. Dial for the pitch, and there was no bother at all. So the next thing that came on view was, what were we going to do about playing gear? We didn't have any, nor didn't have any way, and we certainly hadn't the funds to buy it. So the suggestion came through the few players that we had that we'd approach the Holden brothers, Paddy being the leader of the gang. So they were approached, and I think I'll pass you on to Jim Holden then to give you the lowdown of the equipment.
We got Paddy gave us bought the jerseys for us, blue jerseys with the V-neck, and some of them had the other neck on them as well, hadn't they, Kevin?
Round necks, yeah.
And the old neck, and bought us the football. So we were almost all set. So we arranged a few practice games, pardon me, down in the Palace Lawn, and we played in Enniscorthy, we played St Cormac's. I played for St Cormac's first, and I used to ride a bicycle out to St Cormac at the Boulavogue with Ned Ellis, Andy Colleen,
Billy Rowan,
and we used to play with Boulavogue, and then we decided to start our own club in '58, and that's how it started.
Well, it all started from the St Cormac's Club in Boulavogue, which I was a member of. I was a member of the boxing club, and it started over from the Father Murphy Boxing Club, and then Seamus Kieran started up the soccer club, the St Cormac's, around that time. We used to, so as you know by now, that's the oldest team in the county, St Cormac's. And then we'd start in Ferns, like. So the whole...
Yourself and Jim Holden used to cycle too?
Oh yeah, we cycled out to Boulavogue for games and all, and then rather than go out there, the boys said, why not start a little old club in Ferns? Which we did. We had meetings in the Castle Cinema, that's where it was that time. Had a few meetings there. John Foley went in as secretary. Pat Tracy was chairman. And I think it was Paddy Holm was treasurer.
You remember, and Ferns playing playing Boulavogue, that was a hefty score again for Ferns.
That's right. I think we scored about 8 or 9 that day.
And do you remember who scored 4?
Tommy Hawkins.
And Jim?
Jim Holden.
That's right.
Yeah, they were the ones who scored. Yeah. I remember the first 2 games we played in the cup. Tommy scored 11 goals in 2 games.
Now, Jim, I believe you were involved in the first Wexford League committee.
Yes, Kevin, I was the first treasurer of the county. There was only 5 teams there that night, and I was the first treasurer. And we decided to enter the league in the Wexford League, right? To organise the league. So I was a treasurer, and it was 10 shillings a team to be affiliated. That's what every team gave. 10 shillings, every club gave 10 bob. Well, I hadn't much money as a treasurer then, had I? I wouldn't have got drunk or anything. So that was it. We started then from there, and we got to the cup. Ferns then had a team. And we